Hi, hello, welcome to a Partyplex FPS. I'm your host, one of your hosts, VB, and I'm going to be playing Franky for today's game, and I'm here with the ever wonderful and lovely.
Doll. I am going to be playing Jackie today, and we are going to cause chaos.
Absolutely, as always. So, I want so to introduce us back, this is a week after the events of Hide and Shriek. And believe that the Partyplex has started to up its security. A few things are changing and shifting, but a few other things have not changed from that night. One in particular thing that has not exactly changed was Frankie's habits of breaking in and rummaging around in areas she shouldn't be in. So, right now, she's back to weaving and bobbing between the crowds, uh, hiding amongst the adults, and such to try and find her the best route to the uh back to parts and services or to any storage places she can find. So while Frankie's
Currently,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. No, you.
No, I was going to
I
introduce
thought.
you. I was going to ask what's Jackie doing in the midst while
Okay, that's
Frankie's
what I was
sneaking
gonna
around.
say. Currently, the daycare is closed for reasons the managers didn't really tell Jackie. She's assuming it's just them making sure everything's up to code and all that, so she's hanging out in the theater since nobody else goes in there really.
Ooh, where's she hanging out right now? Sorry, could you repeat that?
The the theater.
Ah,
Uh,
fair.
She hasn't gotten to do any shows there, but she feels at home in the theater and is currently doing aerial tricks on her wire,
Aw, that's fair.
performing for a crowd that isn't there.
I would like to think that during this time, Jack, not Jackie, Frankie is trying to recall the parts and services area that they were in just before they met Rara. And as she's going through the employee routes, she's um she's taking all the turns that she remembers. First of all, going through Monte Golf, then taking a left or right, walk straight past that corner there, and uh, I think this. No, this should lead me straight to the. This should lead me straight to parts and services. This is the door, and she opens it, and Jackie, right behind you, you hear a click of some kind as a door opens.
Oh, it's probably in the backstage area behind the curtains while she's out on the main stage.
Mm-hmm. Most
She
likely.
she just assumes it's a staff bot since that's really the only ones who come in here anymore. Nobody ever uses the theater besides her, so she continues performing her tricks. Sometimes she wishes someone would watch her, but it's fine. She gets to practice.
Yeah, that's fair. As Jackie is still performing, Frankie, on the other hand, is just kind of looking around the backstage and is going, it's dark in here. Pulls down her goggles, and realizes this doesn't look like parts and services. And out of
I,
sheer morbid curiosity, starts exploring. She may have been
uh,
here before, but
could you
she's searching again. Go ahead.
could you do a little perception check?
Yep, I can always do that. What's your perception, little girl? There we go. That's not what I asked for. 7. Girl.
uh, you can't really see anything besides the typical um stage props and all sorts of levers and stuff that presumably control something to do with the stage. You can't really tell what part of backstage you're in. There's costumes and all that, but nothing to tell you your direction.
Well, that's worrying. But, of course, she being a child and morbidly curious, she's gonna pull the lever.
Uh, you hear the sound of some sort of light uh turning off, and then you start to hear metallic sounds as something uh drops onto the stage.
Well, shit, fuck. As soon as she hears a clattering and a metallic sound, she's going to jump, and she's panicked. Does she just run back to where she was first, or does she investigate?
That's up to you.
I know that's up to me. But as we've established, she's already gone this far with her curiosity, so she's going to try and kind of like. I imagine there's like a giant curtain for the background that hides the backstage. So
Yeah.
she goes up and she kind of just lifts the curtain a little, like, okay, what happened? What did I do?
In front of you, you see eyes, with specifically one eye glowing in the darkness. It's uh one red pupil looking around, and you hear Jackie's voice go, "Hey, who turned the light?"
Franky's gonna lower the curtain and just gonna go back to where she found that backstage door. Yep. This is fine. Okay. She's. I'm gonna make a stealth check to see how quiet she can be as she tries to sneak back. Wait, wrong chat. Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Wrong
Hee
chat again.
Oopsie doody.
Whoopsie doody. 19. Hmm. For the sake of plot, I'm going to say, uh, Jackie doesn't hear anything from backstage, apart for the very soft click, click, as the door to the backstage closes.
I think Jackie, still remembering everything that happened with Rara, is gonna go backstage and look around for anything out of place after flicking the lights back on, of course.
You flick the lights back on, and as you open up the door, you now hear a tip, 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 and see a very small blue red thingy, something along those lines, now running down the hallway.
Uh, Jackie sprints after it, just shouting, "Hey!"
Uh, well, the little thing is starting to run faster. So for this, I'm gonna do an opposing dex check to see who can outrun the other. 10.
Okay.
You have a 50-50 chance. Maybe higher, maybe lower. Yeah, no matter how fast this little thing is running, unfortunately, its legs are too short, and Jackie doesn't have too hard of a time of coming close, of getting close.
Yeah. She like grabs it and like holds it against her chest.
Ah, well, she's gonna get the very, very familiar feeling of being kicked and hit against as she hears it cry, "Let me go! Let me go!" There's very
She
familiar.
like pauses.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she pauses for a second and looks down at who's in her hands and says, "You're not the rabbit. What are you doing here again?"
Yeah, you see the very familiar, bright, frazzy red hair and a very, very angry look as it glares up at you. You asked what it was doing here, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was having a wonderful time until you stopped me. Now let me go!
She like starts walking back towards the theater and said, "Well, I was having a wonderful time until you snuck through the security tunnels and turned off the stage lights."
Listen, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were on there.
Nobody ever does. What are you doing in the utility tunnels anyway? Those are off limits.
None of your business.
Well, it is my business now.
Well, no, it still ain't.
It became my business the second you interrupted me.
Well, it doesn't matter. Just let me go. Oh, get out of here faster that way.
Nope, you disappeared last time. And you've got a lot of explaining to do. And she like enters back into the theater backstage.
Yeah, no, Frankie is still trying to like hit Jackie with her like elbow, her fists, and everything. What do you want me to explain? There's nothing to explain.
Why are you in the staff tunnels? You know how dangerous those can be. You're supposed to stay out in the guest areas, such as the attractions, or I don't know, the main lobby.
There's nothing to find there.
What are you looking for that needs you to sneak around in the backstage?
You know, I feel like I'm starting to repeat myself here, but I think I told you that it's none of your business.
Jackie decides to just roll her eyes and like scan the kid, because now that she doesn't have a mask, she can figure out who this kid is using the guest profile.
Ooh, I'm assuming that the guest profile it records all of the guests that have been recorded into the super
Yeah.
Partyplex.
All the guests who paid for it and got their tickets and stuff, yes.
Well, as you try to scan for who this sassy lost child is, you you come up short on figuring out who they are because she's technically not registered.
Jackie stiffens up a bit and quietly says, "You're not supposed to be here at all."
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that enough during. Yeah, I've heard it. Okay, hang on. Let me word this properly. Blah. Yeah, I've heard that plenty of times. Whatever. Just let me go.
Jackie like looks around the theater and thinks a bit and says, "Where are your parents?"
Why do you need to know?
"So I can get you back to safety where you belong, because if someone else figures out you're not supposed to be here, they're not going to be as polite as me."
That doesn't matter. Just let me go.
Jackie like sighs and then looks at Frankie and then gets an idea. "You know, when the daycare attendant, me, finds a lost child, you know what I'm supposed to do?"
Do I want to know?
She gives Frankie an absolutely devious grin. "Keep them in the daycare until parents arrive."
No, 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 no. You are not bringing me to the daycare. No, 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 no. And she just keeps hitting starts hitting Jackie even more. You are not doing that.
She laughs a bit as she starts walking to the daycare and says, "Think of this as payback for messing with my internal wiring."
And I can do it again if you don't put me down.
Oh, you can try. My chest hatch isn't opening that easy.
Well, what's changed?
Got mechanics to fix it so that a human couldn't bash it open.
I could still try. And yeah, she's going to try and repeat. She's only going to try and open the chest just to prove Jackie wrong, as she kind of like squirms in her hands and tries to reach the chest cavity.
Yeah, it's like trying to open a closed security door. It's not budging.
Yeah, she's going to keep hitting it and slapping it and everything, and she's just hitting it and hitting it and hitting it, trying to tear it, even reaching into. Well, she's now wearing her iconic big puffy Razzie um, jacket. She reaches into one of the pockets, pulls out a screwdriver, and is now just trying to pry it open.
Jackie just hums and says, "You know it's rude to stick your hands up someone's shirt, right?"
Yeah, and it's rude to just grab somebody without warning or consent or whatever.
Uh, you don't get that right because you're an intruder and I'm a security bot, so I get the say here. And she like enters the daycare and like shuts the wooden door behind her.
Yeah, sure you do. And I get to a say in what happens to me. And she's going to keep trying and prying. Um,
Mm.
Another detail that I do want to point out that I completely forgot to mention is that Franky is carrying around her duffel bag. So I imagine it dropped when Jackie picked her up. And going back into the utility, the employee hallways, you see a little duffel bag sitting there. And as Franky catches the sight of it, is now trying to squirm out of Jackie's hands to reach it, doing little grabby hands to the
Well,
bag.
we already reached the daycare, and
Ah,
also Jackie would have noticed it and picked it up onto her own shoulders the second she got Frankie.
oh, that's fair. Oh, I assumed we were
Mm.
still in the tunnels, but okay, now we're in the daycare. Okay, got that detail cleared
Yeah.
up. Yeah, no, Frankie's not too happy with the fact that Jackie now has the duffel bag and is just like hitting Jackie even more. Like, give it, give it, give it.
Yeah. Hold your horses. Once she's sure the wooden doors are secured and cannot be opened, she sets the child down and then sets the duffel bag on the security desk.
No. Okay, so you set down the duffel bag on the security desk. What happened to the child?
The child has been set down on the floor.
Yeah, no. Frankie is booking it to the duffel bag. Oh, hang on, I'm being called to. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Since you were having a moment, can I just quick bathroom break.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. We're having an even longer break. Hi, I'm Jay. Welcome to the chaos. Alrighty. So, duffel bag on the security table, and Frankie, as soon as she's set down, is running towards the duffel bag.
Yeah, Jackie's just dusting herself off from the walk and letting Frankie do that.
Fair. She hugs the duffel bag closely and puts it around her shoulder. She kind of does it diagonally, so it's much harder for it to fall off than it did the first time. But yeah, she's
Mm.
hugging the duffel bag very closely and just. I'm gonna do a perception check on the daycare. Yeah, I can think.
Okay.
12.
Oh,
What can
okay.
Frankie see?
It's typical daycare, though it has a sort of dawn theme, so the walls are a nice gradient, and there's a lot of paint splatter looking theming on the playground parts. And there's an arts and crafts area, the security desk, obviously, which behind it has an animated poster of Jackie. And up above the ball pit is a balcony that seems to lead into somewhere.
Yeah, that's fair. Frankie is very much looking around and is just kinda. Ugh. I mean, it's better than looking at the eyesore that is normally the rest of the Partyplex, but I don't know, this just feels a little too friendly and it's scaring her.
Mm. Jackie just looks at Frankie and is like, "What? You got something against paint?"
Frankie's look of a slight unease at how calming this place looks just turns to venom as she looks to Jackie and is like, no, of course not.
Jackie smiles and shrugs and says, "I don't know. Maybe we should be. The kids get crazy with arts and crafts, and I have to get cleaned every day. I mean, have you looked at me? Like, she is black and white, and that combined with kids and messy paint, you can only imagine."
Yeah, Frankie doesn't use her imagination to imagine that. Instead, she just kind of shrugs. Yeah, she's going to keep looking around and actually, she gets a bit of an idea. Uh, hmm. There's was Frankie able to find like any entrances and exits as she looked around?
Um, there's the wooden door exit, and then there's the balcony up above. There's some vents, but they're too high on the wall for anyone but Jackie to reach, and Jackie is abnormally tall, being an animatronic. And they're also screwed shut.
That's true. I have a question. How tall up is the vent and or the balcony? Like
Um,
an approximation of how many feet?
I don't know, maybe 10 or so feet for the vent, and like, I have no clue, 20 or something for the balcony. I'm not good at measurements, but there's got to be some way up into the balcony besides Jackie's wire because staff have to be able to access all the rooms, right?
That is
So
true.
maybe
That is
there's a
true.
secret door.
Hmm. Frankie is looking and she's thinking. And eventually she kind of looks back at Jackie and goes, "Okay. Where are the arts and crafts? I think I might as well get my hands busy while I'm gonna be here."
Jackie actually smiles at that and says, "Well, That's perfect. I was actually going to offer you something. And she like leads Frankie towards the arts and crafts corner, which is fully stocked out and stuff. Since I know you and your stubborn nature, you probably wouldn't want to wait for your parents. So, I've been pretty bored by myself around here. If you'll stay and play with me for a bit, I'll help you get out on your own. That way no one else notices you're here. I You helped us last time, so I should at least help you get out of here without trouble.
Frankie is kind of very suspicious of that. She doesn't really negotiate much, but she does squint. She'll at least hear Jackie out as she asks, "Well, what game are you thinking of?"
And she like looks excited and makes a gesture around the whole place. Well, there's plenty to play. Whatever you want to do. We've got board games, we've got toys, we've got the arts and crafts corner, we've got a movie corner. I could put something in and we could watch that. There's plenty to do.
Okay, so from what I've caught, there's a movie corner, there's a. What else was there?
Arts and crafts,
Arts and
there's
crafts,
toys,
toys.
um there's a corner for board games, and in the nap time corner there's a bunch of books.
Ooh.
And there's of course the play structures.
There is the play structures, but even then, Frankie is still going to choose the arts and crafts as she's kind of like, yeah, I'm like, ah, I really like getting my hands busy and dirty. I want to make something.
Jackie smiles and points to the arts and crafts corner and says, "Go ahead. Just you can use whatever supplies you want. Just if there's an issue, please tell me. It gets really messy, really easy, and staff wants me to keep it clean as much as I can."
Yeah, fair enough. Frankie's going to take a seat and she's going to look at around at the supplies. I assume there's like scissors, there's paper, glitter,
Safety
glue,
scissors.
safety scissors, of
Yeah.
course. Gotta make sure that the kids don't cut themselves.
Yeah,
And
there's all sorts of supplies.
yeah, well, uh, Frankie is going to think for a bit on what she can do, and she's very much eyeing that glitter.
Yeah.
And she has a bit of a cheeky idea.
Jackie's yeah, Jackie's going to
Oh.
sit on a different part at a different part of the table and is going to pull out some paper and start making her own little craft. Also, if you want to do an insight, you can.
Um, I think Frankie's going to be a little too busy with what she's trying to do an insight on Jackie. Because Frankie has an idea on what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, You know what? I'm gonna go this way because I feel like this is going to be funnier and a lot more messed up for Frankie. So, what she's going to do is she's going to grab a bunch of paper and she's going to kind of start doing all kinds of things. She's going to start doing origami, gluing things together, and kind of like she's making something.
Yeah, Jackie like looks up a couple times and looks really happy that Frankie's participating before going back to her own craft.
Frankie is incredibly focused. She's like laser focused on what she's doing. And she looks at herself very gleefully as she reaches across for the glitter.
Uh, Jackie notices and says, "Oh, you want to use the glitter, or would you like the glitter glue? They're very different."
No, that glitter, that glitter. I don't want the glitter glue. Okay, maybe I do want the glitter glue.
Jackie laughs a bit and passes her both a bottle of glitter and a bottle of glitter glue. Why not use both?
Frankie is very much happy and goes, "Thank you." And as she takes it, she kind of looks down at what Jackie's making and just kind of tilts her head. "What are you making?"
Jackie like pauses and shows her, and it's actually a scene of the both of them sitting at this table, and it's really well drawn. And
Aw.
Jackie just says, "I'm drawing us." Uh, I don't usually get to use my talents that much since, kids tend to get a little upset if I'm drawing so much better than they are, so I typically dumb my art down. But since there's only you, I'm doing my best. I'm pretty proud of my art skills, actually.
No. Uh, yeah, Frankie is just kind of like looking down at the drawing, and yeah, she's kind of taken aback at how good it looks. And she's just kind of, well, she can't help but look at herself at and the way that she's being drawn. It's always such a weird feeling to see herself. But she shakes it off and goes, "It's really well drawn. You're
Thanks.
you're a really good drawer."
She smiles and leans in a bit and says, "I'll tell you a secret. I actually helped paint the daycare all by myself, or at least the walls. The
Ooh.
staff and other members did everything else, but I got a little bit of creative freedom."
Frankie kind of looks up briefly at the walls again before going, "Very nice."
Yeah. Jackie looks really happy.
Very nice. Well, regardless, once Frankie's done admiring, she just kind of reminds herself on what she was doing, sits back down at her little colorful stool, as I assume, and finishes up what she's making. She adds the glitter, she adds the glitter glue, and she kind of slams down the glue as she looks very proudly at herself. You know what? Actually, she might as well reach for the markers and start doodling. Just making it look a little bit prettier.
Jackie curiously looks at what she's making.
Um, so as Jackie looks over to what Frankie's doing, Jackie notices that Frankie's almost done with what she's doing, just adding in some marker decorations. But it appears to look like, well, it looks like an origami bird. But it's not exactly origami. Some certain parts are folded, but it looks like a paper bird being kind of like held together by different pieces of paper. Some parts are glued. And it's absolutely covered in glitter glue and markers and other illustrations. And the glitter canister that Jackie handed over is now half empty. But there doesn't seem to be any of that glitter on the bird.
She decides to push that fact away and whistles impressed and says, "Wow, you're really good at that. You could you could probably be a sculptor if you wanted to. That's really well made."
Really? Aw, thanks. Well, if you like it, you can have it. And she kind of like
Really?
holds up the bird and offers it to Jackie.
Jackie smiles and gives Franky the paper that she was drawing. A trade then.
Yeah, Frankie admires the paper and she just kind of gives it a bit of a smile. And she folds it away into her pocket and she. Oh, I am being called again. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Ooh.
Okay.
Alrighty. Anyway, as alright, are we going to stay paused a little longer?
Nah, I think Zen is not online. Oh, either we at Zen or we keep moving.
Let's head Sun.
Okay. At some point, I do want you to do an insight roll because that's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna put. Alrighty, so Frankie hands over her little gift after receiving Jackie's, and she folded up the little paper, stuck it into her pocket with a bit of a weird smile. Well, you think it's supposed to
Yeah.
be a smile. And she's kind of like, oh, by the way, if you pull the tail, the wings flap.
Really? And she goes to pull the tail.
Well, in fact, as you pull the tail, it does not flap its wings. Quite rather, instead, the entire bird blows up into a big thing of glitter and cutout feathers. And Jackie, taking this opportunity, is booking it towards the vent as fast as she can.
The vent is too high for her to reach.
Yes, but she has a rope.
Does she have a grappling hook?
No, but it's a magic rope. She's an artificer.
Yeah. Jackie like screams in surprise and then yells, "Maggie, why would you do much?" And she like twitches a bit before taking it off and like looking at herself. Why would you do that?
It's called a distraction! And she's going to rummage through her duffel bag, pull out a rope, and with her bonus action, she's going to whisper a. She's going to tell a magic rope. By the way, for those who are questioning what this is a rope of climbing. So with a bonus action, Frankie can speak a word and it can animate the other end of the rope. And by Frankie's command, she can have it tie around things to help her climb. So she's going to ask it to tie itself on the little slits between the vents so she can climb up, pulls out a screwdriver, and is as fast as she can trying to unscrew the vent. It's probably very, very slow, but she's trying.
Jackie like growls and attaches herself to her wire and like bolts over using the wire and grabs Frankie by the scruff.
No, 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 no. Ah.
She yanks her off the vent, and now you are in midair, being held by a robot on a wire.
Yeah, Frankie's not particularly too happy. She didn't think she would have enough time, but this was the fastest thing she could have thought of. But yeah, Frankie is going to speak a magic word for the rope to untie itself and to return to her duffel bag.
Yeah, Jackie just hisses, "Time out! Time out!"
Oh, really? You're gonna put me in timeout?
Oh, yeah, and not the usual one. And she starts flying upwards.
Wait, where are we going? Wait. Oh. Yeah, no, Frankie's not too happy to be lifted up into the air so high. Ooh.
Yeah. And Jackie brings Frankie to the balcony up above the ball pit. And
Okay.
she lands down on the balcony, unlatches herself from her wire, and walks in. There's a little upper raised platform and some stairs. She heads down those stairs into her personal room.
Yeah. Uh, Frankie's going to give it a few glances all around. She's not going to do a perception check yet, but she is going to start thrashing within Jackie's hands again and goes, "Let me go! Let me go! You're gonna make it worse for yourself."
She like tosses Frankie lightly onto a pile of beanbags in the corner and says, "You're gonna stay up here. It's a lot harder to get out."
Oh, really? Huh. I'll take that as a challenge.
If you want to break your neck.
Oh, you wouldn't let me do such a thing.
Try me. And she's in security mode now, so scary face.
Scary face. So Jackie's just going to keep looking at Frankie as she's in this room. Is she? Or is she? What is Jackie planning to do?
Jackie is going to sort around through her things, grab what looks to be like a torn off part of a door and a couple other scraps, and like barricade the exit of the balcony. Or like, yeah, barricade it.
Well, congrats, genius. How do you expect my parents to find me now?
I'm guessing you don't have any.
Frankie is just kind of furrowing her brows at Jackie. Yeah, and what makes you think that? Maybe I do.
Then why are you scrounging around the Pizzaplex when you could just get everything you need from your parents?
Maybe what? Maybe I don't have. Maybe my parents don't have what I'm looking for. That about that?
It doesn't matter. You're gonna stay in here until you behave. And Jackie just marches back down the steps and goes over to a tube in the wall and crawls through it to go into a separate part of the room.
Can I have a look at the tube?
It's a plastic tube. It's like the typical kind of tube you would crawl through in the play structures, just in the wall instead of the play structure.
That's valid. Can Frankie fit in it?
She could, or you could hang out in the main room while Jackie is in the side room. Get your bearings.
No, that's valid. It's just I wanted to assess the hole first. Okay. So,
Yeah,
main
the
room.
hole is more than big enough.
Frankie is going to look at that hole, and now I'm going to do a perception check. Oof.
No.
5. Honey. She's not
You
understanding
sure
a lot
are
of
in
things. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You sure are in a room. There's a bunch of stuff in it. It's kind of messy. Not horribly, but more than you expect for the clean daycare that was downstairs.
Yeah, that's valid. Here's the first thought. Frankie's gonna go to the corner where she was thrown onto the beanbags. She's gonna drag a beanbag over and she's going to shove it into the plastic tube and keep dragging more and more beanbags to barricade it as much as she can.
Mm.
She's gonna keep.
You can do that. Jackie's not stopping you.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep barricading that little tube until she's satisfied with herself. Like, And you mentioned that the front entrance was barricaded too. The only way out.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, and it was barricaded by a robot who can bend metal, so it's not just haphazardly stacked. It is bent together and formed and stuff.
What do you mean it's bent around? Like,
You know how you could take a metal pipe and if you bend it enough, you could like bend it around something? It's like that. She bent the metal so that it's kind of wrapped around each part, and now there's a big barricade that you cannot just pick apart.
yeah, that's fair. Hmm.
Since your perception check was bad, do you want to do an insight? Because that can help you learn more about the room, even if the perception wasn't great.
Sure, I'll do an insight check on the room. 7. Yeah, this child is not learning anything.
Since you're rolling so badly, do you just want to roll again?
This child is way too stubborn and way too focused on this one problem. 19. There we go.
Okay. Uh, if you take a sweep around the room again, you start to notice some things. First of all, the room is messy and not that well taken care of compared to things Jackie has said, such as the fact that she's required to keep the daycare clean. The daycare was sparkling. And there's a lot around the room. The beanbag pile that you've confiscated seemed to have been a sort of bed area near a charger in the wall. And there's a little work desk in another area with like fairy lights and stuff. And it's got a couple puzzles or broken toys and some sewing supplies. And all around the walls are drawings that children have made, as if someone didn't want them to get thrown away.
Aw.
And it seems this is more like a storage area, because besides Jackie's things, there's a bunch of old discarded toys, merchandise that has defects, cleaning supplies, because apparently there's no cleaning closet down there. And all in all, just stuff that seems like staff would have just dumped it in there. And then there's the room that you've just barricaded that you can't see into. But apparently Jackie felt it was more of a safe space than the main room, enough to go into it on her own. All in all, the room has a very lonely feel. It makes you wonder, what does the daycare attendant do whenever the daycare is closed? Because she only does security at night.
That is a very valid question. And Frankie's going to take a good look around as she just kind of goes, huh. This is kind of sad. But regardless, unfortunately, she's still a very goal focused child, so I'm very sorry. She's not gonna do much to be very nice. As she has a goal in mind, and noticing the cleaning supply, she's gonna go head on over and see what she has to work with. Granted, she's more of a mechanic than a chemist, but she'll see.
Yeah. There's not really much that could help. There's cleaning supplies like wipes and fluids and stuff. There's a old vacuum that seems like it's on its last leg. A mop.
A vacuum, you say?
Really, that's about it.
Hmm. Okay, I'm currently going to do a straight intelligence check to see if she can figure out anything to do with the chemicals. 16. She has a few vague ideas.
Yeah. Though
She,
mainly all you could really do with the chemicals is make bombs or something. Or something not safe for humans.
yeah, that's kind of what she was planning to do. She, uh, hmm. She's gonna look around, and I believe what she's going to do. This is one big room. Okay, I'm gonna think about this a little bit. So, Jackie, honey, you made a mistake of bringing Frankie to your personal room. This is a child that only knows destruction. So, what Frankie is going to do is using the mop bucket. Actually, I'm thinking. I was kind of hoping that there would be some kind of balloons or something. Are there those?
Um, I mean, there's probably more supplies that you could use in the room Jackie is in, because you didn't check it.
Yeah, she's not gonna go into the same room as Jackie. Okay, I'll work with what I've got. She takes the mop, specifically the bucket, and she's going to put it into the room. And she's going to start taking whatever supplies she can. By the way, she puts the bucket like right next to the door, and she's going to start pouring in the chemicals haphazardly and using the stick end of the broom, she's going to try and stir it a little bit to activate the chemicals. And as soon as she feels satisfied, she throws the mop aside, runs to a corner of the room, and tries to protect herself with the duffel bag. And
Okay.
I imagine from the chemicals being agitated and mixed together, there's Jackie from the other room probably hears a loud boom and a shake as Frankie checks to see if the bomb blew the door.
It did not destroy the barricade, but now it looks extremely charred.
God damn it. Well, she
And
tried.
you got Jackie's attention now.
Yeah,
And you can see the beanbags just shooting out of the tunnel one by one as something pushes its way through.
uh, Frankie is going to grab the vacuum and she's going to try and shove it in there too, just for some extra weight and for something.
It gets thrown back by a beanbag that sails straight at Frankie.
Ah! I'm gonna make a dex saving throw for that. 5. She gets hit by the vacuum and beanbag. Just
You get beaned by a beanbag.
Yeah, she gets beaned by a beanbag, and actually, she's going to use this beanbag as cover for herself to try and hide. I'm gonna make a stealth check. Honey, Frankie, you fucked up. 20, not 20. She is one with the beanbag.
Yeah. Jackie gets out of the tunnel and starts frantically looking around.
Yeah, use.
And
Go ahead.
when she doesn't see the child, she panics and starts like searching through everything, and then eventually just sighs and crouches down and puts her face in her hands and mutters, "I just wanted someone to play with. Why does that have to be so hard?"
Ooh, that's a very, very good question. But Frankie is going to kind of stay quiet underneath the beanbag, hoping not to get Jackie's wrath.
Yeah. She stands back up and starts checking on the drawings around to make sure none of them got blown up. There's probably a few that got charred, and she like shivers a bit every time she picks one up that's unsalvageable and puts
Aww.
them all in a pile. collects all the other drawings from the walls and puts them in the desk drawer of the little work desk she has in a corner. And she just sighs and looks around. Well, at least it's a bit cleaner, I guess.
Girly Pop, I am very, very sorry. But yeah, Frankie still doesn't wish to do much, just kind of hiding underneath the beanbag as she waits for an opportune moment to escape. Which, actually, I'm gonna have her peek underneath the beanbag a little bit to see where Jackie is and just kind of eyeing the tube to the next room. And when she when Jackie's at the desk trying to put the papers away, Frankie's going to get out from underneath the beanbag and she's going to try and very, very quietly get over to that tube to go to a different room. Which I'll assume is another stealth check.
Yeah, go ahead. Good job.
Girly Pop, no! Yeah, Frankie is.
You makes it into the other room.
Yeah, but I imagine she'd have a bit of a struggle with her duffel bag. But she's able to drag the duffel bag behind her and get to the next room.
Seems like this is more of Jackie's personal area. There's an arcade machine. There's a lot of art that looks like she made it herself, in a corner. There's a bunch of dolls, like carefully put, next to each other. And, it's much cleaner in this room, though not by much. And on one side, you see a door.
Yeah, yippee, an exit! Yeah, Frankie, without much thought, is going to try and get through the door.
Yeah.
Is it open?
It is not open, but you can open it. It is not locked.
Yeah, that's what I meant to ask. Yeah, it's an unlocked door, and Frankie. Well, in her defense, that robot did try to grab her and dragged her to a random area and made the very unfortunate choice of putting her in its own personal room. So, Frankie can't feel too sorry for them. That's at least her inner monologue as and self-explanation as she kind of goes through the door and starts heading down.
Yeah, as you open the door, the hinges basically scream because guess what? Jackie can use her wire to get up to the balcony, and staff rarely comes in here. They always meet her down in the daycare, so that door has not been oiled in forever.
Ah, okay. Frankie would have loved to know that sooner. Now she's bucking it down the stairs unsafely.
You can hear clattering as Jackie tries to come after you, and you go down the stairs, and you reach another door.
Is this one locked?
No.
Okay, cool. Running, just like hitting. Frankie's just gonna hit herself against the door to force it open. And she is.
It opens already.
Yep. Now she's trying to figure out how does she get out of the daycare. Ball pit.
Yeah, no, you open the door and you fall a couple feet.
Ah!
And you look back up, you are in the daycare, and you just came out of a hidden door behind a poster.
Yep, Frankie's documenting that. Okay. Yeah, hidden
You're
door.
back where you started.
In the daycare? Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna slam that door shut behind her and she's going to kind of. Okay, so the scuttling was behind her, correct?
Well, you just heard metal clanging and stuff. You're
Oh,
not sure
metal
if she
clanging.
came through the tube.
Good point. Yeah, no, Frankie is going to do a very quick perception check to try to find Jackie. Uh,
You don't see her.
or no, Frankie doesn't know if to be comforted or worried by that fact. So she's going to do the very only thing she can really think of right now and toss her duffel bag into the ball pit as she tries to leap in there herself to hide.
And kind of bad move because you hear sounds and then some sort of whistling sound like wind, and then something dives into the ball pit because that's how Jackie usually goes down.
Yep. Nope. Frankie is going to pull her duffel bag underneath the surface and she's going to crawl into her jacket, her bright and colorful jacket, to try and blend in with the balls.
Yeah. And it sure does feel like you're in shark infested waters because you can hear stuff rustling around you. And sometimes it's close, sometimes it's far, but it's circling you.
Yeah, I doubt Frankie's gonna have a good time trying to escape. All she's gonna do is prepare to shock and grasp whatever it is that grabs her.
Something grabs her duffel bag.
No, 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 not the duffel bag. She was not prepared for that. And she's going to grab the strap of the duffel bag and just kind of like pull it against. Though I doubt that works.
Yeah, no, you get lifted along with the duffel bag, and you face a very, very angry Jackie.
Frankie looks to Jackie and gives her that same smile that she gave during arts and crafts before handing over the bird and says, "Hey, well, I got out. Be your challenge."
Jackie doesn't say a word and just marches out of the ball pit with her.
You know, I did try to tell you this was a very bad idea. Can't you can't hold me. You
She
can't contain
tosses
me.
She tosses Frankie onto the floor with the duffel bag mid sentence.
Yeah, no, Frankie is going to kind of roll on the floor and she's going to look at the duffel bag and is like, "Hey, be gentler with this thing."
You weren't gentle with me.
Well, you weren't gentle with me either.
Jackie just narrows her eye and starts marching off towards a different part of the daycare.
Well, fine. You already know that my parents aren't gonna come, and I've already caused to you enough problems. Can I go now?
And Jackie marches right back with arms full of food. And she drops all the snack bags in front of Frankie.
Frankie is confused. She looks at the bags of food and kind of looks up to Jackie and is like, "What? What
And
is this for?"
Jackie marches off towards the nap time corner.
Whatever. She's gonna grab a few of the bags, shove it into her duffel bag, and go on to the wooden doors to see uh, what she can do to escape. She doubts Jackie's going to stop her now.
Oh, those doors aren't opening. There's no handles. And when you try, they don't budge.
Is there a lock on them?
No, it's like
Ah,
security doors in a way. They're just painted. And then Jackie marches over with a blanket and tosses it onto Frankie.
it, I'm not tired. What is this? What are you doing?
And she says, "It's so you don't go hungry or cold when you're out there. If I have to let you leave, I'm doing it with you prepared."
I have this jacket. I'm warm enough.
"Yeah, what about when it starts snowing?"
I don't get cold that easily.
She rolls her eyes.
Yeah, Franky's not gonna throw the blanket off of her as she kind of holds on to the blanket a bit, looks down at the snacks, looks up to Jackie.
Yeah.
You know what?
And Jackie says,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you."
Okay, so Franky's going to take a deep breath in, and she's kind of. A good buddy wanted me to relay this message to you. If you want to hear it.
Jackie tilts her head.
Well, a good friend told me to tell you this, but from me to you, not from them. Whatever. Listen, I'm sorry. Mostly, I'm sorry about what happened before Rara. Before we fought that rainbow rabbit thingy person. You know who Rara is. I'm sorry for opening up your chest panel and kind of electrocuting you on the inside. That was very intrusive and very, very mean. And I'm sorry for blowing up your room. Might as well get that out of the way, too.
Jackie, like, her expression gets softer and she says, "Thank you. Now, do you want to go raid the gift shop for clothes?"
Honestly, I wouldn't be against that. Yeah, sure, I'd love to.
Jackie manages to smile again and pushes open the wooden doors and leads the way.
Frankie now just kind of seems to relax a little herself as she takes the blanket off her shoulders, folds it up, and puts it into her duffel bag, following Jackie behind.
Yeah, as Jackie leads her to the unstaffed gift shop, she says, "You may have caused a lot of mess, but if you ever need to, you can come to the daycare and I'll keep you safe. Okay?"
Okay, I'll come to the daycare if I need to.
Jackie nods and uh, motions to the gift shop, which they are now in, which is full of merch. There's like clothes of the other animatronics, mostly Jackie stuff because it's the daycare gift shop, but there's plenty to choose from. And then
Frankie.
she turns and
Go
faces
ahead.
the wall and says, uh, "If I can't see it, then there's nothing to report."
Yeah, yeah. And Frankie is going to wave her hand as she looks over all of the merchandising, uh all of the merchandising, everything that she can see. Uh she'll mostly see if there's anything that's relatively her size, but I imagine she grabs some sweatpants, some socks, maybe a hat. We'll see. And she keeps
Yeah,
grabbing little things and shoving them into her bag. Goes, okay, I grabbed everything I wanted. Thank you.
yeah. Jackie turns around and want to do an insight check?
Sure, I'll do an insight check now. funny.
Funny. Yeah. Jackie looks sad for some reason, as if she's disappointed that Frankie is leaving. And she gives a quick glance to the empty daycare where she'll be by herself and just says, "Be careful going out. It's easy to get caught."
I know.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah, you're right. Today's, uh, yeah, I haven't really been on my A game after what happened kind of last week ish. So yeah, I guess I could stick around the daycare a bit. I could try fixing up your room after the mess I made. Just
Jackie perks up really fast and like looks at her in disbelief.
yeah, just don't ever pick me up again. I don't like that. Don't do that.
Noted.
Yeah, keep your hands off me. And she's going to walk all the way towards the daycare on her own. Well, of course, with Jackie by her.
Hmm.
And I feel like this is going to be a good closing spot since it's been almost an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Jackie, Frankie are going to spend the rest of the afternoon in the daycare doing various activities as Frankie repairs the room, does the arts and crafts, and, well, maybe takes a small little rest the within the sleeping area, reading a book.
Mm.
But yeah,
Nice.
you still don't know her name, but you know she's the child.
Yeah.
But alright, as the two are starting to wind down and relax, I'm gonna say thank you, folks, for listening. We'll see you next time. It was lovely having you here, doll.
It was lovely being here.
Yeah. Alright. See ya, folks. Have a
Bye bye.
have a razzle dazzle day.